If you've been researching for places to retire, I am sure Panama has come up on your list several times. Panama is still one of the most popular countries that expats retire or move abroad in 2026. I first moved to Panama about 4 years ago. It was my first country when I moved abroad. I still have permanent residency in Panama. Today I'm going to tell you what Panama is popular for, and if you haven't considered Panama, maybe you might want to put Panama on your list. And make sure you stay tuned till the end, because I'm going to tell you who Panama is best suited for and who may want to look somewhere else. This might not be the country for you. All right, so let's get started. Panama has a very well-known visa program. Panama offers several different visas for people who want to stay there on a long-term basis. One of the most popular visas for expats is the Pensionata visa. This is a visa that I have. It is a retiree visa. However, you don't have to be 50 years to get this particular visa. You can be a whole lot younger. I think the minimum age is 18, I believe. But the thing is, you have to make sure you meet the basic requirements. I did another video, a couple of videos actually, on the 5 easy ways to get the Pensionata visa. I also recently did a video with my immigration attorney, so I'll put the link of those both in the description so you can see how straightforward and easy this visa is. The visa also comes with lots of benefits, which I'll talk about in a completely another video. But compared to a lot of the other countries, what was I talking about? So basically, I wanted to say that Panama has a very straightforward visa process, and as long as you consult with a reputable immigration attorney, then you will be fine. So getting a visa and establishing residency is very different than just arriving as a tourist and staying for the minimum amount of months and then leaving and coming back. Getting residency is very straightforward in Panama, and a lot of people get the Pensionata visa. The next thing I want to say about Panama is that Panama has a variety of apartments and housing available in all kinds of budgets. You can get an apartment for $900, or you can get a luxury apartment for $10,000 a month. There is a wide range of properties that are available. It depends if you're living in the city, if you're living outskirts, in the suburbs, if you're living in the mountain areas. All of these things are going to weigh in your apartment prices. Depends if it's furnished, it depends if it's unfurnished. But the thing is, which is a really good thing, that most of the prices are very negotiable. There's normally lots of inventory. So if you see something that you like, you can also work with multiple realtors at one time. Make sure you're getting a realtor that is referred to you by someone, because you don't want to get scammed, or you don't want to end up with an apartment with mold or something like that. But there's lots of things to consider. But one of the things that I wanted to point across is that there is a wide variety of apartments. Now, Panama may not be the cheapest country. I don't even want to use that word cheap. The most economical country, okay, because some people are surprised by some of the rent prices. However, you can find something in your particular budget, okay? Another thing I wanted to talk about is that the US dollar makes it very easy to move to Panama. Panama operates on what they call the Balboa and the US dollar. So you don't have to worry about currency exchange. You don't have to worry about rates. Whatever price you see, that's the price is going to be deducted out of your bank account. You don't have to add on anything. You don't have to pull out a calculator. What does this mean? How much is this in US dollars? So it's very easy to get acclimated to this particular country, because you're going to be operating on the US dollar. So it makes purchasing, it makes pricing it also makes you being able to manage your budget a whole lot easier because you're going to be operating on the US dollar. Panama is also very easy to reach from the United States. The Tocumen airport has gone through a major overhaul. They have direct flights. Copa Airlines, which is like the major airline for Panama, has a lot of direct flights that go straight to several of the cities and states that are in the U.S. So you can get back home very fast if there's some kind of an emergency or something. If you have family members, or if you're older, if you have grandchildren or something like that, they can come visit you easy, or you can also fly back to them very easily. Panama is also an international hub. If you wanted to travel to other countries, you're very easy to do that with Copa and other international airlines. So if this is your first time moving abroad and you're nervous about being too far away from friends or family, then Panama might be worth a consideration because it has very easy access to the United States. Another thing that's very important is that there is already a very large international expat community. You can say, oh, well, I don't know anybody and I'm kind of nervous about moving to a place solo. That may be true. Yes, it is. However, once you get there, you will quickly find Panama is not that big. So there's going to be communities in all these little places. There's community in Panama City, a community in Coronado or Gorgona beaches, a community in Boquete, a community in David, a community in El Valle. Wherever you decide you're going to live, you're going to find community. The best way to get connected is to join the Facebook groups, join the WhatsApp groups. And once you get connected to one, it's going to be very easy to find out where the church activities are, where the social activities, where is the weekly, where people play card games or the jazz events. All of those things are going to be very easy to get information about. But you're also, I do want to say this, you're also going to have to be intentional. You just can't sit there and wait for someone to knock on your door. You might have to get out of your comfort zone. You might have to go attend a meetup or something by yourself. But once you get there, you're going to meet other people, you exchange numbers, and then boom, you got somebody you can hang out with. So moving abroad, you do have to be intentional about connecting with the community. But Panama, unless you go to some really rural place, however, there is community spread out throughout Panama. That's the point that I wanted to make. And you also have to be intentional to connect with that community. And I also wanted to say that Panama offers different types of lifestyles. Sometimes people say, oh, I want to find an apartment for this kind of price. But the real question is, what kind of life are you trying to live? Do you want to be near the beach? Do you want to be in a high rise? Do you want to be in a house? So before you start, yes, you need to have a budget, but you also need to have a clear idea of what kind of life that you want to live. And Panama offers a wide range of lifestyles that you can live. Some people love living in the city. They want to have access to all the restaurants and all the events. Listen, when I first moved to Panama, I wanted to have access to the main city. So I lived in a high rise on the 46th floor. And I have never in my life lived in a high rise. So that was some experience. However, it came with a lot of amenities. So you might have to be adaptable to different things depending on what kind of lifestyle you want. Some people are moving across the bridge to an area called Panama Pacifico, which is more suburban, but it also has restaurants and condos and residential housing. It's like a mix of things over there. Some people want to have cooler temperatures, so they're moving to Boquete or David or El Valle. Outside of Panama City is a host of places that you can live. So depending on your lifestyle, you'll have a variety of places to pick from. Panama has private health care. Private health care is accessible. Especially in Panama City, Panama has international hospitals that are affiliated with Johns Hopkins University. A lot of the doctors have been trained in the States, so they're specialists that you can have access to. And normally the price is going to be a small portion of what you're going to pay in the States. There is a lady in my expat group who was saying that she had a cleaning in the States and her out-of-pocket cost was $800. And that was even without the x-rays. $800 without x-rays. In Panama, you can go to the dentist depending on where you're at. You could be outside the city, you could get cleaning for $30. Inside the city with x-rays could be under $100. It all depends on the facility that you go to. It all depends on the area that you're in. But it's going to be a fraction of the cost that you're paying in the U.S. And Panama has excellent health care. When I lived in Panama, I had physicals done. I had mammograms, ultrasounds. One thing that I loved is that during Breast Cancer Awareness Month, everything is discounted for women as far as your mammograms and your ultrasounds. They have like promotions that they even extend throughout the months, not just October, for the next 3 months. So it's like no reason that you cannot get good health care in Panama. But one thing you also, if you have pre-existing conditions that you want to make sure is that you have done your research to make sure you can get your medications, to make sure that whatever health care you need, you can get it done in Panama. The infrastructure feels familiar to what you're probably already used to. There's going to be large shopping malls. A lot of the international brands, the fancy luxury brands are there in Panama. Grocery stores, might have what you need, and other specialty stores, you might be able to get it somewhere else. There's banking systems. The banking systems are very good and very secure in Panama. I remember when I went to another bank to make a deposit, and the door to get into the bank was kind of like a vault. They were only letting one person in, and like a door closes, in back of you, and you go through this little, almost like a tunnel, not a tunnel, but like I said, like a vault, and then and it turns, and then you go out, and then it closes, and even to get back out. So you try to rob a bank, you're going to be stuck in the middle of the door. So, but anyway, I digress. But the banking system is very similar, not similar, but they have good banking system there, okay? So all the things that you're normally able to do in the States, some might be a little different, but high-speed internet, ATMs, Amazon delivers in Panama now. So things that you're used to in the States is very familiar there. So it's not too much of something that you need to adapt to, although there are, because there's a language barrier and people are speaking Spanish. So you tie those things in, there's going to be some difference, but the majority of the infrastructure is very similar to what you're used to in the States. Nature and travel are close by. Because Panama has a wide range of climates, you can, it's normally hot and humid, but if you want cooler temperatures, you can go up to Buquete and spend the weekend up there. You can go to the beaches, enjoy some of the beautiful coastal beaches areas. You can also, once you're living in Panama, you also have very regional, easy travel to like Central and South America. I travel to several different countries outside of Panama because there's a lot of places that you can go to that are very close. A short plane ride. And Copa, the airline in Panama, always has really nice discounts to different places. So there's a lot of opportunity for traveling throughout Panama and also outside of Panama. You can take a short plane ride up to Boca del Toro and enjoy the beaches up there. You can drive to El Valle and enjoy like a beautiful, like, I don't want to call it a mountain. It's almost like a very, what is El Valle? It's not a mountain. It's almost like rustic, but very relaxing and serene environment. Something like that. Green environment, very green. So you could do something like that. So there's options and there's choices. You can go hiking up in the forest in Phuket. So lots of different climates and environments that you could experience if you're into nature and like to travel while you're living in Panama. So don't get me wrong, Panama still has a lot to offer, but that doesn't mean it's a perfect country. There are no perfect countries out here, all right? Panama still has very intense heat. The humidity can be very high, so some people might find that challenging. The traffic can be a nightmare in Panama. You soon learn, what time to travel and when not to travel on the roads because it can just be horrible. What else could be challenging in Panama? The language barrier, of course. Not knowing Spanish might be frustrating at times and might be taking some getting used to. So it's better to kind of try to learn some common words because that's going to take some you being adapting to different, the way they do things might be different than what you're used to. So you're going to have to adapt to some things. So the question isn't whether Panama is perfect. The question is whether the advantages match the lifestyle that you're trying to create. Okay, so Panama might be right for you if you want to stay close to the United States, if you value the US dollar, if you want to have the option of city living, beach, suburban living, if you want to have a strong expat community that's already established. Panama might be right for you if you qualify for one of the residency visas that they offer. Finally, Panama might be right for you if you want to have access to modern conveniences and you want to have access to private health care. Panama may not be right for you if you want to have 4 distinct seasons as far as the weather. Panama might not be right for you if you don't want to learn any Spanish at all. Panama may not be right for you if you have little patience for bureaucracy. Panama may not be right for you if you expect everything to be cheaper, way cheaper, dramatically cheaper than anything in the United States. So is Panama still popular for expats in 2026? Yes, it is, and for good reason. It offers residency options for people who qualify. It offers familiar currency, operates on the US dollar. It offers convenient travel to the United States. It offers established healthcare and infrastructure. And it also offers several different lifestyles in one relatively small country. So if Panama is on your list, tell me what attracts you to Panama. Is it the residency? Is it the weather? Is it the proximity to the U.S.? Let me know in the comments below. And if you are wanting to move abroad and unsure about where to start and need some help or some assistance along the way, make sure you check out my link. I have several resources that can help you. All right, and once again, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you hit the like. That's a small way to support my channel. And if you know of anybody else that could benefit from this video, make sure you share it, and don't forget to turn on your notifications so you don't miss my next video. Thanks so much for watching. Ciao, ciao.